Hi, everybody in Facebook land. We are here today with Kelsie. She is a former client of Clear Passage, and she is here to share some exciting news. She was an infertility client, and this afternoon she is going to actually share her gender reveal with us. So welcome, Kelsie. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Sharon.
Wonderful. So before we get into your history, can you tell me how you heard about Clear Passage?
I heard about you guys through YouTube, actually. I was searching what my diagnosis was and seen a Clear Passage video about the diagnosis that I had for my infertility. So that was interesting. And then I did some research on your website.
And then you hooked up with one of our other I can say her name, Lindsay, because we gave her, she won one of our contests and she received treatment. By the way, Lindsay is also pregnant and going to go get her anatomy scan today. But how did you meet up with Lindsay?
I met up with Lindy through Facebook, another Facebook group. She had commented and I had plenty of questions, and Lindy was there anytime that I needed somebody to ask questions, to be there. Pretty much even during therapy, she was very helpful and very supportive. She still is to this day, and we still talk quite a bit almost every day.
Oh my gosh, you met through Facebook and you talk almost every day?
Yeah, we compare our stories, we compare our pregnancies, and just pretty much talk about anything.
Is it fair to say, and this is something I'm asking a question which I should never do on a live without knowing the answer, but could I say that Clear Passage helped forge your friendship?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun. So can you tell us what your diagnosis was and the history that you learned about it and what you had to do?
So back in October of 21, I had a miscarriage. We found out after my husband and I got married that I was pregnant, and we assumed that it was going to be okay, as it was with my daughter prior. Then I had a DNC, and then after the DNC, I couldn't get pregnant. So I went to a fertility clinic that one of my friends had worked for in St. Louis, and they had seen on one of my ultrasounds that I had hydrosalpinx, which is fluid in your tube, or toxic fluid in your tube. She then referred me to 2 different places to get a opinion, I guess, or a diagnosis, like what are we going to do with your hydrosalpinx. And the guy that I went to at WashU stated that he was going to take out my tube, and I just didn't feel comfortable with that. He even stated that even if the other tube was still good, he was just going to take out the second one. And at that point, I didn't go back. I didn't schedule my surgery. I didn't feel comfortable taking both of my tubes out when I really wasn't sure about this diagnosis.
That had to be really devastating to hear that, okay, I want to get pregnant, but we have to take out your tubes to get pregnant. How did that make you feel?
Terrible. I told my husband I do not want to just take out both of my tubes. I don't want to do just IVF. I want to try something else. So when I was researching and coming up with what kind of natural remedies can I do, Clear Passage came up, and I did plenty of research and talked to Lindy and felt more confident with going the Clear Passage route.
And so for people who are listening, a lot of times when we have blocked tubes and you go to an IVF doctor, they recommend taking out your tubes because it actually makes implantation, if you are having IVF, higher, more successful. But you could also come to Clear Passage and open those tubes and either get pregnant naturally or IVF. Kelsie, did you do IVF after Clear Passage?
I did not. We were actually scheduled for an IUI in December. I had been on Mounjaro, which helped me lose weight and do some help with my pre-diabetic stuff and my liver enzymes. So I had some other health issues to go along with that, along with PCOS. And just so happened that I couldn't fill my prescription for Mounjaro, and found out that same day that I was pregnant. So it was interesting.
That's so fun. That's so fun. And I remember even we did some techniques to help with the PCOS too.
Yeah.
So you heard about us in a Facebook group, and so then kind of what happened after that?
Well, I then scheduled in December. They had a special, so I called, paid my down payment or whatever, and scheduled for April of this past year, 23. I wanted to make payments, to be able to come in. So that was great for Clear Passage to have payments and discounts and stuff like that for me. So then I scheduled, very nervous, and Lindy was there the whole time, like, this is what happened for me. This is, what support. She really didn't have as much support as she gave me, because there was nobody else really, I guess, that had went through it like her there. And then came in and had my therapy started with you and Mara, which was excellent.
Wonderful. So what was it like when you called in to schedule? And who did you talk to, and what was the process like?
I believe I talked to Jessica in the
Mhm.
office. She was great. She answered all my questions. I think I called on a Saturday, and she had answered, and I was freaking out about, well, how is this going to help me? And she kind of stated what the process was and what their success rate was, which I had seen online. And I was like, okay, well, give me a few days. I'll call back. And I thought about it and prayed about it, and called back a few days later, scheduled, paid my payment, and then Brenda called, and she was great too. Every time I called or had a question, everybody was there to help me. So it was a really great and easy process to go through.
So you mentioned Jessica and Brenda, and we also have Amy, and the people in the front office, they are just amazing. Mm-hmm. They are so kind, so considerate, very, very knowledgeable. I just can't say enough about everybody in the office. And they're a lot of fun too. So I just want you to remember, Facebook friends, that if there are comments that you would like to make or questions, please put them in the comments down below, and we will definitely get to them towards the end of this video. So then you came into St. Louis, and you lived in the area, right? So you really didn't have to travel.
I live in the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you nervous, and what was your first day like?
Very nervous. I had no idea really what to expect, except for what I had seen on Facebook. Sharon did like an intake with me, and so it was Sharon is excellent. I can't say enough about Sharon, and just being there for me, being supportive, and not just that, but stepping me through everything, walking me through what steps she was taking next, no matter if it was my therapy or if it was the next day, what we were going to do.
And in St. Louis and in Florida, we have 2 therapists, and that's always fun. People say, well, your other places have 1 therapist, and all of our therapists are excellent. All of our therapists have 100 hours of training plus manual skills background. So we all have a plethora amount of techniques and skills that we bring to us, and then we're trained in the Warren technique. But St. Louis and Florida have 2 therapists, and that's also nice. Don't you think, Kelsie, being able to have 2 sets of eyes, 2 sets of hands, 2 people kind of talking about what we think we need to do next?
Yes, and what Sharon couldn't get or didn't get, Mara was there to, go on top of. So it was great to get 2 people's opinions and 2 people's experiences with me.
So did you have any unexpected side effects during your therapy, or anything interesting that happened?
Well, I was on my period at the time, so that was an interesting thing to go through, but my period was shortened. And that was a great experience. Honestly, my period has been great ever since then until I got pregnant.
I'm going to interrupt real quick. Did you have issues with your period before?
Yeah, so they were very irregular, never on time, very heavy, just as a PCOS person would have to deal with. So at this point, I knew it was going to be 4 days, and I knew that it wasn't going to be as heavy as it usually was.
Good. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt, so go ahead.
It's okay. Digestively, I just felt better. I had a lot of lower back pain for about 4 or 5 years, and Sharon worked that out, and I haven't had any since. Well, during this pregnancy a little bit, but between then, none at all. So it was a great experience to not just be able to help with my fertility issues, but with other issues as well.
That is wonderful. Exciting. And so when you went through therapy, did we give you any tools, tips, tricks, teachings? Did we do any education with you, and what was that like?
Yes, much education, not just on infertility, but on, eating right, taking certain vitamins if needed. There was a packet, plenty, or 2 or 3 packets sent home that gave a lot of details, not only what Sharon and Mara had talked to me about, but it was actually wrote down so I could go back and I can continue to reference those. Other techniques to take home somewhat to help break down my adhesions that I had around my ovaries that I had no idea about, because those don't come up on ultrasounds or x-rays or CT scans or MRIs, whatever. It doesn't pop up. So they were very informative on my extra issues that I had.
Yeah, you came in, like you said, with quite a bit. But then when people come in, not only do we deal with, oh, we have black tubes, but just as Kelsie said, oh, there's other issues that could be affecting that, or that are just affecting our overall health and the ability to live fully. So we treat in the office, but we also give a lot of education. What else can we do? What else should you be looking at? Make small changes. That's the other thing, just for any of our Facebook friends, especially at the beginning of this new year. Just always make these small changes. Don't try to make these big, huge changes at one time, right? It's
Right.
much easier to handle something if you make small changes. And then everybody, whether you are infertility, pain, bowel obstructions, headaches, everybody gets a home exercise program to maintain the gains that you made while you were in therapy, and also to help continue to progress. So everybody gets exercise program to take home with you that you can do every single day and continue with your improvements. So we had a little bit of a spoiler, but could you tell us what the results of your therapy was?
Yes. So in April April 2023, I had went to Clear Passage. In June, that was the first time I was able to get an HSG. My HSG results came back clear and patent, so nothing is wrong with my tubes. I messaged Sharon at that point and let her know. And then September, I had found out I was pregnant. And since then, I mean, it's not been a breeze, but we are here. I'm 22 weeks. So with that, I didn't use anything, no fertility treatments, nothing like that. So this was all natural. Sharon had told me, and I keep remembering this and telling everybody I see, that they worked so hard on my left tube, and that's where my hydrosalpinx was, and said that my ovary was covered in adhesions on my left side. And shockingly enough, that's where I ovulated from, was my left side.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Were the doctors surprised, or did they say anything about the tube that was opened?
So I wanted to go back to my fertility clinic after. So I had an appointment in August to actually, had scheduled my IUI and stuff. And they were like, no, I think we're going to have to do some more testing, because I don't think that that's right. Or the other fertility clinic didn't diagnose you properly. So I found a new OB. My sister and I have now the same OB, and she's really nice and caring in St. Louis. And they were just all very shocked. My fertility clinic refused to see me, even though I had scheduled to see them anyways for my pregnancy. They refused to see me at all. So found the new OB. She seen me. The nurses were in shock when I told them, especially during my first ultrasound. They were just like, this is like a miracle. I can't believe that's happened. And I've shared my information from Clear Passage to them to let them know, if you guys have any other issues, this is who I went to and who can help people as well.
That I am so sorry that you went through the fertility clinic not even talking with you and seeing you. That's devastating. If you had to give any advice to people who are looking at Clear Passage, well, before even people who are looking at Clear Passage, if you had to give any advice to people who are suffering from infertility, you're in your groups a lot, what would you advise them?
Well, I'm always telling the people in a fertility group, and so is Lindy, to come to Clear Passage. There's no better place to go. I wouldn't even set foot back into a fertility clinic if I didn't have to. I would come to you guys first. So if you feel like that you don't know who else to reach out to Clear Passage. They're going to be there for you. And if you have questions, Lindy and I are always open to questions with our fertility journey. I know that we talk about that all the time. We share our stories with everyone. So reach out to Clear Passage, reach out to one of us. Besides our stories now that you guys know, we're there for questions and support as well.
So we have Lindy's and Kelsey's email and contact information if you want to contact Clear Passage. Where else, because I don't want to give out your contact information, but what fertility groups are you in?
Actually, Lindy added me. Mostly, I'm most active in the baby dust community on Facebook. There's another hydrosalpinx group that I'm a part of, that I share your information into as well and share our story. Because this is not, like, your diagnosis is not the last resort, and surgery doesn't have to be your last resort.
I think that's a great piece of information, that your diagnosis doesn't really define you. It's not your last resort. It's not who you are. And there's other options, right?
I did talk to a girl in Canada. So actually, it was the same day I got my HSG. And I believe Jessica or Amy, maybe it was Amy, reached out to me and said, do you mind if I give this girl your contact information? And she was from Canada. She went to New York to get treatment. Her tubes are also clear, but I still talk to her as well. So it's like 4 people for sure that I know who've gone to Clear Passage that have had their tubes cleared.
So first, Kelsie, thank you so much for being such an advocate for Clear Passage. Really appreciate it. And New York, Aura in New York, she's phenomenal. Everybody, we have 2 therapists in Gainesville. We have New York. We have Detroit. So Detroit is Charmaine, Aura in New York, Kate and Helene in Gainesville, Sharon in St. Louis, and Jenny in Dallas. And we all have great successes with infertility, black tubes, hydrosalpinx, and chronic pain and bowel obstructions. Like Kelsie was saying, even her digestion was feeling better after all of this. If somebody decides to come to Clear Passage, is there any piece of advice you'd like to give them?
Choose St. Louis. I wouldn't say anything else, but that's just my experience. Make the call. Don't feel like, even if you think it costs too much, it's definitely worth it. I wouldn't rethink or go through this again and still consider coming back to Clear Passage.
Thank you. We are going to do a gender reveal, but let's, if anybody has any questions, we have Jessica. She's listening and she says, hi, Kelsie. It was a pleasure being on the journey with you. And Jessica became pregnant actually after being treated with Clear Passage too. Oh. Robin says it's amazing journey and happy for you. Hi, Lindy. She says, we've been talking about Lindy all time. Lindy says, so happy for you and so thankful for Clear Passage bringing our friendship together. That's really sweet. And congratulations, Lindy. Team Blue. All right. So drum roll. Blah, 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 big gender reveal. What are you going to have?
We're having a boy.
Yay! I wish we had like streamers and everything that would come
Yeah.
down. Yes. Oh, that's so exciting. And again, I'm asking something that I'm not supposed to without knowing the answer, but may I ask, do you have a name yet? Not yet. We're not sure.
We have a few, but we haven't stuck to one yet. We're kind of waiting.
How exciting. And how old is your, you have a daughter. How old is your daughter?
I do. My daughter is 12, so the baby's supposed to be here in May, but I had some other issues why I couldn't be on last time. Had emergency surgery for a cerclage, which they just stitch up your cervix. So that was interesting and definitely something that was a little bit difficult to go through. But she is very excited. She went to our anatomy scan. Poor her, had to deal with some of the stuff that I was going through that day as well.
So, yes, the reason why Kelsie wasn't on a couple of weeks ago was because of the surgery. So first of all, thank you very much for coming back on. And then second, did you know about this before your scan, or was it kind of right there and had to get it taken care of?
No, I had no idea. I went for my anatomy scan and everything was great up until the time they saw the funneling, and then the ultrasound tech was out really quickly. She had the doctor in there, and the doctor was like, "This is your options, and you're pretty much going into surgery today." So I called the office and let them know, like, I don't know what my schedule's going to be like. I may as well just reschedule.
But everything is okay now? You're feeling healthy?
I am. Everything's
You're
going
as
well.
healthy as you can be being 22 weeks pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
And we have lots of, Lindy says thank you, and Laura says yay, and Lindy says yay for a boy, and Jessica's team blue and blue hearts, and Robin is woohoo. So thank you everybody so much for your support. I feel the love. I'm sure Kelsie feels the love. Is there anything else that you would like to say, Kelsie, before we sign off?
Besides, choose Clear Passage. Like I said, if you have any doubts in your mind about Clear Passage, I'm more than willing to answer any questions that I can. But do it. Take the chance. Take the risk. You'll be really happy with your results at the end.
Thank you. It was a pleasure working with you. It was a pleasure keeping touch with you. That's the other thing we do with Clear Passage. We just keep, reaching out and keeping in touch, and so going through the journey. So it was a pleasure doing that, and absolutely wonderful to speak with you today. I really appreciate it, especially since you had to jump through hoops to come back and work around your schedule.
Thank you for having me, Sharon.
And so if anybody on our Facebook Live would like to contact us, you can go to www.clearpassage.com. We have some place where you could apply for therapy, because we don't take everybody. We really have to make sure you're medically stable, that what your diagnosis is something that we can help. So we do have you fill out quite a lengthy form with your medical history. Or you can call 352-336-1433. Again, that's 352-336-1433. And get in touch with Amy or Jessica, because they can help you out. There are financing options available. It's in our chat, and you can go ahead and click on that link if you need help with financing. Thank you again. Good luck. I know you'll email me as soon as you have other good news. So thank you very much. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we appreciate your time today. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.